So, to insert a new chart into PowerPoint, I'm going to click on the Insert menu item. I'm going to click on Chart. What it does is it gives me a default graph and the default data sheet. The default graph is always the column chart. I'm not sure why, but that's just the way it is. So the first thing you need to do is to go up to the Chart menu and select the chart type. Now when you go to the chart type, you'll see that the standard types, the first four, are the ones that I talked about: the column, the bar, the line, and the pie chart. And you notice that there are subtypes here for each one of them. So while the default is a 3D chart, you can select a 2D chart, or you can select a different type of chart. Let's say you wanted to select a bar chart, for example. And the default in each of these types seems to be a little different. Some are 3D, some are 2D. So you select the different types. I'm going to leave it as the default that it started out with, which is the clustered 3D, because I'm going to show you how to get rid of all that chart junk. So I've selected my chart type. Now I need to enter my data. You'll notice down here there's the data sheet. And very much it looks like a spreadsheet, and it is. One thing to note though, you cannot do calculations in this data sheet. It is not a calculational sheet, it is only a data sheet. So I could type in my different data and you'll see the graph change as you type it in. So instead of 20.4, if I wanted to put in 25, I would just enter that. When I hit enter, you'll see that that first column changed slightly based on the entry of the data. If you have data in Excel, how do you get it in here? Well, I happen to have an Excel sheet open to show you. So I'm going to go over to Excel here, and in Excel I've got actually this is the example chart that I had used earlier in the presentation. So I have my data here in the top left corner. So in Excel what I would do is I would highlight my data, and then I would say Edit and Copy. Now that data has been placed on the Office clipboard. So I'll go back to my presentation, back to the data sheet now, and I will go in the top left corner and I will say Edit, Paste. And it pastes it in. Now you'll notice something here. We have two rows, row 2 and 3, which we do not need. If you do not need a row or a column, blanking it out, just simply highlighting the data and deleting the data, will not get rid of the column or the row. What you need to do is to select the entire row using the gray row numbers here. So I'm going to select these two rows, west and north. Now, when I hit the delete key on my keyboard, I get rid of those two rows from the graph above. So that's the way that you need to format the data sheet properly to get the graph that you want. Okay, so that's the basics of how we get a chart on the slide, how we get the data set up properly. Now when you're done formatting your chart, you click outside of the chart area and PowerPoint closes the data sheet and shows you the chart on the slide. At this point, you can now size this chart. So for example, if you wanted it to take up the entire slide, you could just grab one of the corner handles, the sizing handles, the little white dots, hold the Shift key down on your keyboard, and drag the corner out. Now why did I say hold the Shift key down? Because I don't want you to change the aspect ratio, meaning the ratio of width to height of the graph. Otherwise it gets distorted and people seem to think, what are they trying to hide? Why doesn't that look the way it should look? So now we've got a chart on our slide.